Hi, chat.
Hello. How you doing, Nini?
Hello. Oh my god, it's a Nini first.
It is. It is Nini first. Alrighty. I think all of my everything is up that I need up for the most part here. Chowing down. How are you, cuties? Well, how are you, hun? I'm doing fantastic. I woke up not long ago though. So I'm still kind of figuring it out, but feels pretty good, you know?
Who did you just call? Who? What now?
I said, "How are you doing?"
Oh, I thought you said my name, and I was so
Yeah. I
confused.
said, "Hun."
That's what I thought I heard, but then I thought you were talking to somebody else for some apparent reason.
Who else would I be talking to, you butthead?
I don't know. Your chat?
Anyway. Alright, I need, first things first, I need to get a iteration of, Beatrice in each of these rooms. Ah, yes, I remember now. Thank you for the follow, Rox. Appreciate you. How are you doing today? Yeah, that was the main thing. I needed to add more enemies into the game. Well, we're just starting, so we'll figure out how the stream is going, but I imagine it's going to go well. I'm alright, I'm alright. Just waking up and doing some RPG Maker, really. I actually showed up with a water bottle today, so.
Wow.
Mm,
The shocking chat. It's so shocking.
yeah, I don't need to walk up and go to the kitchen to grab a water bottle because I fucking forgot like a clod. Yeah,
Oh my
that was the
god,
main thing.
chat.
I
We need
needed
we
to
need to
add.
we need to put the W's in the chat for the win
Mm-hmm.
of this man. The GGs, the good games, the clapperinos.
Indeed. Yup.
I'm tormenting this man.
Yeah, well, thank you for the follow on X. Frankly, I use it to just announce shit. I mean, I can take a look. I usually don't just do follow for follow situations, but I mean, I will always take a look. So if somebody brings it to my attention to see what's up. All right. What were we doing for the creature situation, though? Yeah, we were doing the second level. Because we were putting in all of the different spirits into the game, as well as the, yeah, we pretty much have everything but level 3 at this point. I forgore. If,
Forgomerino.
nah, we wouldn't have had this. So, this next stage will probably require level 2 drops, I'm thinking. And then at some point before we do the quartermaster and the training hall side of things, I'll probably have to do level 3 drops, is what I'm thinking. Or maybe we don't even need level 3 drops for it. I don't know. Maybe the next 2 stages should just be level 2s, you know? Really just depends on how I want to go about this, really. Because, like, what was required for the last one? Noms, indeed. Nommers. So, 7 imp wings, rather, which was a stage 1. I've already answered that question on whether or not that I'm going to follow back on you, and that just depends on when I go ahead and I click on what your channel is about. I haven't verified anything. Please drop it, because that is kind of rude to fill up my chat with all of that right now during the middle of a stream. Thank you kindly. And then we have jellyfish tentacles and sturdy vines. I think both of these were from stage 4, right? Anyway. Yeah, so we have stage, I believe, 3 were the Imp Wings, and then stage 4 was after that, yeah. Unsure if I'm dealing with a bot account or not, honestly, but... Either way, that's just not how I do shit around here, so, thank you kindly, but... Usually I'm a lot more chill than that, but, I don't know. Usually when I ask people to stop doing things, they respond in a kindly manner. Did I change the way all of these little thingies worked? Yeah, magic defense. So I think we did. We just don't have one in stage 5 and stage 6. Which, by the way, when we clear up, when you unlock the next 2 areas of the game, I also haven't done the area for the guild yet. I should probably do that. Yeah, I should probably do that. Honestly, too, I think we're just going to fill the rug for the entire area here. Yeah. And then fence post, I believe. Where be fence post? You know, it's probably... Yeah. 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 That checks out. Also wonder if it would be better to do this color since it matches with all the shit down here. Oh, I didn't even realize that you asked me that question. See, this is the main reasoning why I hate spamming about stupid shit like fucking follow for follow on X. You don't see like normal conversations that people are having with you. Yeah, this is the totally same game that I've been working on. Yeah, last stream. This is the same game I've been working on for the majority of the year, honestly. Oh, shit. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I mean, that's perfect for putting like two tables alongside each other where you can have chairs on the outside and they don't really conflict. So we could do something like that. A good way down, right? And then whatever the hell that we want to do over here, which would really just be like a notice board. But I feel like the notice board needs to be over here is the problem. I mean, I say a notice board, but it's really not much of a notice board so much as it's going to probably just be like a bunch of like papers and, you know. So we're working on like a guild right now. Coffee beans, hell yes. You use those coffee beans, Nini. Let's go gambling. Hello, welcome on in, Who. Thank you for the resubscription, my friend. Appreciate you. Appreciate you all. You missed it, Who. You missed it. We had somebody fucking spamming my chat at the start of stream to follow them on X for some reason. It was like my first ban I have had to issue somebody in a long time. They probably were a bot, honestly, but... Yeah. I mean, at bare minimum, they're like a GFX artist for sure. At very bare minimum. So... yeah, we're just gonna do that. I don't have like an actual official notice board, sadly. So we're just gonna work with that. And then we can put like a banner right there. On that part of the wall. I mean, unless we did it like at the entrance, but that's too cluttered for where the plaque is, so I don't think we're gonna do that. But yeah, otherwise we're doing all right, Morshan. We're doing all right. We're just vibing right now when we're working on the guild room for the RPG. After that, I just need to make it so that there's some brief dialogue with Beatrice in the new rooms using drops from level 2 areas of the game. I'm probably going to make it so that which one is on? Oh, the quartermaster's on the left side. That's interesting. I thought that I had the training hall on the left. I am mistaken. So we actually have the quartermaster on the left, and the quartermaster is what sells you throwable items. Whereas in the training hall is... I don't know what I'm going to do with the training hall yet. I feel like what I wanted to do... I wrote it down. What I wanted to do for the training hall is that's probably going to be a service that you do where you can passively level up a party member. But also at the same exact standpoint, I want it to be, like, I designed it originally to be where you unlock new classes, but that seemed silly. Because I think we're going to just unlock new classes. But so here's what I had an idea for when I was thinking at work a while ago, right? So you've probably realized that along the main line of characters, okay, it starts at Chiron at 9. 1 to 9, right? There's 19 classes, but, like, ignore the rest of them all the way up to Rune Fencer. There are 12 in total, and you start with 3, right? Originally, what I was going to do is make 9 of these associate to a character, and then there are 3 that do not associate to characters. So you just unlock them based on the different characters that you have, and I was thinking maybe you reach a certain affinity level with a character, and then you will unlock it. The other alternative, and this is the other thing too, this could be what we use the training hall for. There could be an alternative where after just passively playing the game, so if you hit like a high enough level on a previous class, right, then you will just be able to unlock them by going down to the training hall and then just, I don't know, you buy an item and then you unlock the class or something, right? But you can only buy the item after reaching some sort of prerequisite, like killing X number of enemies in this area, or, something of that sort. Something that you would normally unlock by just playing the game in case you don't want to engage with the affinity system with that character, even though it would be super easy if you grind money, to be honest with you. But either way, if you don't want to engage with the system, the point is I don't want it to be like a weird nebulous thing that you don't understand going through the game, and then you can also just unlock it by going to the training hall. So that's what I'm thinking that we're going to do and use the training hall for. But also, I like the idea of passively leveling up other party members that you don't use that you might want to level up. Especially if you need, like, a whole party, right? And you want, like, some backup characters, but you only want that character to use whatever class that you have on them, or something of that sort. So I think that it'll have use, for sure. I'm trying to keep an idea on, like, what all of the different rooms in the game are and their facilities. Like, the Illusionist, for example, is going to allow you to be able to grind very specific things in the game. The point of the Illusionist is, like, say that you want to grind for enchant scrolls, well, you can buy an item that then turns on a switch in the game to farm enchant scrolls. So you'll get like twice as many enchant scrolls, or alternatively, either get double the enchant scrolls, or you get to like exchange the drops that you get. So if anybody had ever seen how I had done the dropping system in this game, right? There are... Where are they? Where are they? They're not there. They're up above. Yeah, so you see these tickets right here? Hearing you nerd out about this makes me want to play this game so much more. Oh, fantastic. I will definitely have something going close to the end of the year. If not the end of the year, then like beginning of next year to have a demo. I would like to have a demo this year, but as it gets closer to December, I'm like, I don't know. But I'd like to get a playable game, even if it's just the first 2 levels of every stage. But these scroll tickets, augment tickets, weapon tickets, and armor tickets, they just kind of drop when you beat an enemy. And then when you pop out of the menu for the battle, it'll then make a roll for the corresponding item. So what I'm thinking for how the logic would work is you will likely go to the illusionist, right? And be like, all right, cool, I want to focus on better equipment drops. So instead of it immediately cashing out a weapon and an armor ticket, what'll happen is you will be able to cash it in, which is, if we go to these boss stages, this little statue actually has a an option, redeem tickets, right here, that I haven't done anything with. So this is what I'm thinking of using it for. So if you get through here and you keep the tickets, then you can then redeem them in the boss stage when you clear, which will then allow you to get specifically what you want and mitigate grinding. Because obviously, the game is going to be very fucking grind heavy, but I don't want it to be absolutely miserable. I want it to be, once you just put in enough time into the game, that you'll be able to just get the items that you want. And I figured the best way to balance that out is to make it so that you can kind of only farm maybe 1 or 2 things at a time that you can easily obtain in the game. So you just do 1 run this time. You want to go ahead and do your enchantments. Hell yes. Yeah, I want it to be fun. I don't want it to be a chore. I want it to be something where the grind is just second nature and it just doesn't feel like it's completely padding everything out. So... It also is just going to depend on how the game is balanced as well, too, because you probably won't need to engage with 90% of the grinding systems, really. I forgot that's how I made the library look, where it's half one carpet and half the other carpet. You know, what we could alternatively do for this as well, too, is we could do, like, a different floor right here, right? Do something like that. But I don't know. We'll figure it out. I haven't even gotten anywhere near that way for building the ground. We need to make the guild first. So. I am thinking... probably just throw these tables down right here at this point. Throw some chairs on the side of them, right? No, for now, I gotta do grocery shopping while I'm at work and I'll be back. All right, understandable, Who. You go and do your thing. Appreciate you, brother. That a lot of people enjoy, too, especially me. While grinding tends to be annoying, it's fun and challenging. Exactly. I want it to have options, and it might not all be available at the demo state of the game, but I want there to be options for different things you can do. Like, this guild is going to have little side quests that you can do. I actually have a plugin here. Let me find it. Party system, currencies. It is not directly in here already, but there is a quest system in here. Yeah, quest journal. So I would pull it up really quickly for you, but if you look at like Yanfly scripts quest journal, you'll see what I'm talking about. This little plugin will allow me to add in little side quests. It even says it right here, actually. Quest journal is an important tool for game developers and players. It lists various quests, missions, and objectives. This is something where when I have it fully implemented, what I want it to do is I actually want it to show all of the different like fetch quests that you do for Beatrice to unlock the new area. So like, for example, if we go back to the beginning of the game, we go to the hub. When you talk to Beatrice at the start of the game, she tells you to get 3 slime cores, and that's like the very beginning thing of the game. What I want the quest journal to do is to then show you that you need 3 slime cores, and then it ticks up depending on how many of those items that you have. That way you don't need to run back to this quest NPC and then check with her with the dialogue every time to see if you have enough. You should be able to just open up your menu and then see how many items that you have. Not through items, through your quest journal. And I think it could even pop up on screen. I'm not 100% sure. But that's what the goal is. I want you to be able to just see all of your quests in the game, all of your fetches that you have, and then what you need to be able to get those done. And the guild is going to have other fetch quests that will likely be redeemables for certain important items. Maybe for specific weapons. I do not know how I want these quests to go. I'm going to need to list them out later. but I do want that to be an option in this game where you just can go ahead and beat the shit out of a bunch of monsters to be able to get what you need, right? So that's what the idea is. And it's very simple on how the looting system even works in this game, because as we've already established, every single area in the game has a series of 5 monsters. You have a basic monster, an uncommon monster, and then a rare monster. So it's just really that simple, and it's obviously their occurrence on how often that you see them, right? As well as a mini boss and then a boss at the end of the stage. Yeah, beat the shit out of monsters with a chainsaw. Fuck yeah, Nini, you understand exactly what I'm talking about. I should probably check that too to make sure that they all spawn about as normal. But like, yeah, you can see what their spawn rates are if we go into common events. Actually, we cannot see them in the common events right now. It is shown, I believe, up here. No. Is this my RNG rolls? Yeah, this is the generate dungeon. It used to show you what they... No, it does. It does. I'm an idiot. It shows you in these. No, it doesn't, actually. I lied. I don't have anything that tells you what the mobs are. It just shows these. Encounter, destination, initiate fights. Maybe that's why. Maybe it's under initiate fight.
Give me your meat.
No, it is not initiate fight, because initiate fight is, yeah, it's a label. And then, yeah, so this just uses a variable. I don't have it written down anymore, and I really should have a comment that says what the different mobs are, so... Let's just go to troops really quickly, then, because this is 3, 5, and then, I think, 7. But the idea is the percentage chances would weigh very heavily of you fighting multiple slimes, right? That's what the whole point of that is. So mob number 2 has a much higher chance, I think a 50% chance of it being slimes, a 30% chance of it being just 2 hornets, and then a 20% chance of it being 1 hornet in this. So while you have a 50% chance of fighting a hornet, it's never 3 slimes, right? So that's what the whole idea is. You're theoretically... RNG is going to make it so that you fight more of these, which are the common monsters. Tend to have another type of monster, legendary guardian monster, more powerful, gives up more rewards. Oh, absolutely. There's going to be, like, actual bossing and stuff. That's something we can also integrate in with the guild system as well, where there could be a side quest where you have to beat another boss entirely. I don't know what that boss would drop if we did it, but, it probably would be an easy way for you to get some of the late game gear. Because the way the gear tiering system works in this game so far, if you look at this, we have our tier 1 fodder weapons, which are just dropped in a dungeon. These ones are instantly lost on death. We have our tier 2 soulbound, which are not lost on death, but are direct copies of all of the basic fodder weapons. Now, the difference between fodder and non-fodder weapons is that fodder is actually used as a catalyst to create the tier 4 infused weapons. Okay? I haven't named anything differently here, but they will have different names. Infusion weapons are basically the first set of endgame gear that you have. They will have more upgrade slots than even the legendary weapons. So, not legendary, but unique. Unique gear is dropped from every mini-boss and boss in the game. So, everything, including that little orc bastard that just has a random number generation drop chance of them spawning on the tier 1, on the level 1 area of the game, right? He will have a unique weapon or armor that he drops that is specific to him. Every time that you beat a boss at the end of every stage as well, too, it is going to roll from a pool of uniques, simply because there are so many gears in the game that I do not have enough mini-bosses to drop every item in the pool. So everything that is not in there will likely be out of a pool of drops at the end of the boss stages, right? So we'll do that. Infusion we just talked about, so you go ahead and you take a fodder weapon and then you combine it probably with enemy drops. So every enemy has a loot item based on common, uncommon, and rare. And then you will make an infusion weapon, which has even further upgradability than the unique weapons. And then finally, we have awakened weapons, which have 4 slots, allowing them to be able to be up to plus 20. So you can get up to plus 20, like, attack power, defense, whatever the core stat is on it. And awakened weapons you would obtain. I believe I had it set up where you get a very unique drop from clearing the boss at the end of an entire stage. So the 3rd level, you can get an awakened drop for it, as well as boss drops. And I think it also requires a unique weapon as a catalyst for it, so you'll need to grab the unique for it. So, I've thought about this extensively on how I want the gear tiering to go. I want it to be straightforward, but I also want it to, like, you know, have its things that you want to dedicate into as well. We will hit cancel here. But yeah, I think it'll be nice when I finally have it set up. It's going to take a little bit, though. How did I want this little area over here? I mean, this is going to be a gathering point for people, but... I don't think we have regular chairs, but we don't really need regular chairs. We can just use stools. Outside of stools, we also could theoretically just, like, you know, throw a couple of these here, too. But also, I am curious, if we were to grab the wood floor I was using before, right? And we did... I don't know, something like this. Is that too jarring? I think it's too jarring. Yeah, I think it's a little too jarring. The only way I could see that working is if we, like, cut out a portion here. But also, I hate that because this is going to look thinner than the other because it keeps the boundary, the edge, rather, of the carpet. So, I don't think that we're going to do what I was originally thinking there. Review Maker would you recommend to someone? There's a few different ones on Steam, but curious which ones you think would be the best option for a starter. For a starter, MV. MV is definitely probably one of the better ones. I know MZ is a version of MV, but it's also the most recent one, so it's probably not one that you'll find on sale. I know MV right now is going on sale for, I believe, like $11 and change, so you can pick up an RPG Maker game with plenty of assets that you can use because it also has resources you can access. So, as an example, right? If you were to go to, let's say, BGM, you hit import, and then you go into your, where you download the game. So I have it on Steam, on my D drive, Steam Library, Steam Apps, Common, RPG Maker MV. So there's this little DLC tab inside of where you install the game on Steam. And this has a bunch of resource packs that you can access for different things. I would recommend the base resource. Is where a lot of it is. So you could just import your BGM files that you have from here, and it's just additional resources that they throw at you. In fact, this is where the rest of all of your battle themes, dungeon themes, field themes, scenes, theme, town, victory loops, etc. This is where the rest of your actual vanilla audio goes for the game. So, yeah. This is where you'll need to go to get all of that stuff. Because it actually doesn't, by default, give you all of your battle themes and dungeon themes and stuff when you use MV. But, yeah, you have a bunch of other resources that you get. Oh, yeah, 11 is 100% a steal. RPG Maker usually is about like a $60, $70 engine. So, I would totally go with MV, pick it up on a 75% sale for like $10 to $20, and then play around with that. And then go from there. Evening. Welcome on in. But yeah, I think we're gonna go with tables in the center of this. Meowdy.
Hi, Mama.
Oh yeah, that perfectly levels out, by the way. Mm-mm-mm. Do we want square? No. I was like, do we want to do a square chair this time? Nah.
How was your day?
I think what we'll do is a singular chair right here. Nah, make it a triangle. You right. You right. Honestly, I think this is fine as is. We don't need to really make this super fancy. It's a fucking guild. The only thing it might really need is just some stuff on the tables. That's really it. Yeah, it was to you.
Okay,
It was you.
it's not fun.
It was to you, Ma.
Yes, I asked you how your day was, Mama. I don't have to ask him because he just woke up like not that long ago, so
Yup.
his day just started.
Yup. This is true.
So him. I'm doing all right. You know, just taking care of the proper little stinker that she is.
Yeah, that checks out. Little bastard. No, we probably would want that. Or here. There we go. And
Okay,
then we'll
drive
just
safe,
throw
Lou.
a big ol' piggy right here. Yeah, drive safe, who? But yeah. I'd say we're doing alright. Not really a whole lot to say other than that, though. Just kind of chilling out,
Again,
you
like I
know?
said, his day just started, so
Yeah,
he doesn't have much to contribute at the moment.
correct. I don't think that there's really anything I can do other than cups on these. So we'll do that. There we go. And then really, let's just throw something on the corner of the counter here, and then we're fucking good, man.
Stretchies. Huh?
Um, we'll do that. All right, cool. Now we just throw in a random fucking NPC behind the counter. That's really it. It's really all we need. I think we're done with that. Meanwhile, the armory just looks so fucking empty, by the way. I don't know. I like the guild, though. I like it. I think we'll leave it at that. That's fine. We can always change the map later.
No, you're fine, Mama. Take your time.
Yeah. You do what you gotta. Oh, those are the damage icons, so we probably need people. We're gonna do the blue-haired chick with the ponytails. Guildmaster interaction. We're just going to do that. Just so that we know that we can interact with it. This is not being used at the moment, so we don't really have a use for the guild quite yet. I can always just program it in later. And we're just going to delete all of these event pages, though. And now we need dialogue. Glad I don't need to do actual coding. Yeah, you don't need to do coding with RPG Maker, really. Like, it's helpful to know coding. Like, let me demonstrate. Like, it is useful to know coding because you need to, like, you add in all of these different scripts that people make, right? And they are coded in. Actually, I don't know where this is. I would need to open up the actual file, so never mind. But these were all coded into the game using JavaScript, by the way. JavaScript is actually a really simple language to code in, by the way. But these are just scripts, and like how I would recommend it personally. I have an extremely high recommendation where if you guys are going to get into RPG making at all, what I would do is I would get your hands on Yanfly scripts. I think it's 30 for the entire chest of every Yanfly script for RPG MV. So you would be putting 13 into the engine, 12, 11, whatever, how much it is that it is on sale right now for the engine if you get it with the big sale, right? I think it's like an 80% sale right now. So you'd be paying a lot less for the engine. Yanfly scripts are 30 bucks for the entire thing. You can also buy individual packs for like 10 if you only need a very specific thing. So if you're only looking for like a combat engine update and that's it, then do the combat engine stuff, right? Rather than the inventory stuff. So there you go. And then just change that around. And that's it. You just need to learn. The one problem with using scripts is you need to learn how their script works and work around it. And that's the one downside that you have to using scripts versus creating things all on your own. So you don't need to know shit about coding in any way, shape, or form. You just need to understand what this window is right here for making events. That's it. You just need to understand how the conditionals work. You need to understand what all your options are, your priority, your trigger. So this priority being below characters means that you can only activate it when you're standing on top of it, which this matters because if you were to put it in a solid object like this right here, this is something I often do because it defaults to below characters. This table is a solid object, so if it is set to below characters priority, then I cannot hit enter to activate it. So I cannot activate that event. Action button just means that you activate it by pressing a button. Player touch is when you walk into it. Event touch is when you touch it at all, so when you walk over it. Auto run is it is run by default immediately, and then parallel process means it's run alongside other events. So generally you want an auto run to happen when you want to stop your player from moving. Parallel events you can still move during. But yeah, it is super useful to get into it. And it'll also teach you coding in general on a very fundamental level. So I think it's very important to, if you're going to play around with it, that you might as well do it in an RPG Maker engine. I know you can also get demos for RPG Maker too. So you don't actually need to buy the engine. It just limits like how many maps that you can make and stuff. I love how that just like quickly became Beatrice's thing, where she just always is. She always has like a little musical note after she says something. I just decided to make that her thing. I mean, it fits her character. She's playful, so. Technically, I'm doing a thing in pre-built ROM. There you go. Of the more. And then we throw in a choices for different things that you can say. What else do you need? Or do we not even... We don't even need choices, to be honest with you. We could just tell her, have her go immediately over to what she needs. Yeah, that's what we'll do. Balloon icon, player, silence, wait for completion. Might be finished in a few months. I would be interested to see that, for sure. Laziness notwithstanding. Understandable. Okay. We're just going to put that in for a thing. You'll need to reach the second.
What the?
Laziness. No, I already read that. Yeah. What the hell would she call this within universe? I know I call it stage 1 and all of that, but that makes no fucking sense. Let's do this. You will need to reach the second area of the gate I opened for you. You know. I'm gonna definitely color the text too while we're at it. Reach the second area of the first gate I opened for you. You know, the green crystal. Well, she wouldn't call it a floor. That's the thing. It would be a floor to you as a player because it's something easy for you to think of. But the so in canon of the game, right? How I like to visualize and think of how the areas work is every single one of these crystals actually is kind of just a portal to like another world in general. So these are just like weird fractured like memories that are like non-cohesive to a world that already existed once upon a time. That's what the kind of the whole like crux of the game is really. It's not exactly like a unique concept, but you know what? It works. I don't really care. I didn't really try to design the game to be perfectly unique, so it is what it is. But that's like what all of the different areas are. So it's like a world that existed once upon a time that had cohesion that was similar to like our world now, right? Something that you can draw an equivalent to. But now it's just got a bunch of different things kind of just mixed together with no real like fluidity to it. Which is why you go from like one stage to another and there's like a boss in between it, and then you move over to, all right, cool, well, now you're in an ice castle, when before you were just in like a snowy plains, right? Even though they do kind of blend in with one another, it's basically just like a setting based off of like a memory of it to another one. So, yeah, realm fragments, pretty much. So, in other words, what my point is they move into one another. They flow into each other. It's not really like a floor so much as it is just a different area. Yeah, a dream, more or less. Yeah. That'd be really funny. She just breaks character talking about what your level is, though, suddenly. She's in character right up until she's like, yeah, you should be about 15 to 20 when you get there. I mean, that's kind of also the other thing, too. She's definitely going to, like, break the fourth wall. That's kind of the joke that I also wanted to do with Beatrice. She's kind of the just Monica of this world. Sorry, you have to be able to bench at least 500 kilograms to go to that area. Basically. All right, so if we go to enemies, snakes. You know what? Why don't we do snake scales? Because we did not actually do snake scale, even though... Do snakes really have scales? Not really. Not in real life. They just have, like, skin. But, like, you know, I've seen that as, like, a drop in RPGs where if they're, like, plated. So, fuck it. We're going with snake scales. Because the danger noodle down here has snake skins, right? So we're going to go with snake scales. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2. Yeah, this is 1 to 5, 10. So I don't think we have a drop, though, is the main thing. So enemies. I just want to check. Yeah, Will-o'-the-Wisp, Knight, Frostwing, Banshee, and then Gargoyle. Yeah, that checks out. So I've already added in everything right there. We just don't have the bosses set up here. So, yeah, and this is 100 slots, right? Yep. Fantastic. Yeah, all right, cool. I think we're good with that then. We just need to add in... Fuck. The next 30 items, really. So 29, no, 31 onwards. So we definitely want snakeskin here. So we'll copy that. And we're just going to change it because it needs to be more of a scale. I mean, we could do this where the slime core looks like the scale. But we could also just keep using the snakeskin because it's identifiable. Stinky Fox. I am not stinky. I will have you know. Snake scale. Which, by the way, we're totally keeping the names Danger Noodle and Sneck. I am never changing the names of those mobs. Also, the Spooter is staying Spooter. It's not going to be a spider, it's a Spooter. Yeah, it's 10, 30, 40, so this needs to be 10. I mean, probably... Since it's tier 2, we can probably increase the the pricing of it too. Yeah, you know what? Let's double it. We'll do double and then triple depending on the areas that you're in. That makes the most sense. Double, triple. I'll give you that stretch and hydrate in just a second here. A scale left behind by a Sneck. Also, that was not spelt properly right there. There was 2 L's for some reason. And then previous. Welcome on in, Morshu. Hello. How you do? than previous creatures. And then we'll say like the first 2 areas will probably be the most likely ones that you're going to hit stage 2 on, right? So let's take a look at stage 2. Which was a bat, a danger noodle, and a scorpion in the first stage, and then followed by a basilisk, a Duvalia, and a walking corpse, or a wasting corpse, sorry. So we probably want to go ahead and make it so that it drops. We'll want basilisk drops, and probably something from the Duvalia. Hope the RPG making is going smoothly. It do be. Alright, we're definitely doing a feather, though, of some kind from the basilisk, I think. So probably going to call it a basilisk pinion, and then the Duvalia can be... I want to go with Rosebud, just because that could be a funny reference. Yeah, we're going to go with Rosebud. It makes no real sense, but I'm going to do it because Rosebud used to be the, like, age-old cheat for The Sims. And we're going to reference that in the description. Basilisk pinion. Is there a flower-looking motherfucker in here? Not really. There really isn't anything that looks like a goddamn flower, and that's unfortunate. ROM endeavors. Yes, the good old ROM endeavors. So we could do this weird little furry thing, or we just do the weird circle thing right here. I mean, there is a flower, but the problem is it's not the same, like, coloration. I'm going with, like, all of the drops in the game to be purple. Or to be... Oh, did we change? Oh, the Forgotten Bell's different, though. So that one actually is blue. Okay, maybe we don't go with purple for all of them then. I mean, they're all going to go into the loot tab anyway, so like they'll all be under it. But I was trying to keep the same color so that it's all obvious, right? But we'll go with that. A magical... flower from a Duvalia. It is rumored. What did the Rosebud cheat do in The Sims? I believe it just lets you just, like, free build, right? Oh, it gave you simoleons. So it was a money glitch. It was basically an infinite money glitch. To make you $1,000 more rich. Hang on, I gotta bring this back here because it is a little too long in the description here. More rich in another world. There we go. We have our Sims reference now. A magical flower harvested from a Duvalia, rumored to make you $1,000 more rich in another world. Let's just go with richer. I hate the phrase richer, but it also just, I don't know, it seems like it fits more. It makes you Richard, yes. Do we have a skull for a drop anywhere that we've done so far? Doesn't look like it. Cool. Skull's going to be a new one then. We're going to call it a human skull. And now I think it was, what, 10 and 20? Or no, 10 and 30. So this would actually be 60. The Rosebud is $60. Also, these items need to have, like, no scope on them for use. And then that one should just be 80 for the human skull. You've been looking for a human skull? Are you trying to decorate your throne with them? The skulls of my enemies. What did we name that enemy type again? It is Wasting Corpse. There is a strong magic essence. And we'll just do that for stage 1 and 2 anyway, just to get it done. Consumable? No, never. Boop, boop. What are the enemies in stage 1 again? Sneck, Man-O-War, and a Dormouse. I mean, I'm pretty sure we had a tentacle that dropped behind the last time that we had a jellyfish. Like, what else would you get out of a jellyfish, really? Decorate my throne with magic. Fair enough. Been looking for my grandma's bones. That's hers. That's wild. We could theoretically do like some kind of just something out of the water that isn't specifically from the jellyfish. But that also makes no sense because the idea is you're supposed to be gathering things from these creatures that are imbued with magic. So like I don't know. I don't know what you would get out of a jellyfish. It's weird, man. A jellyfish shield. You're right. You're right. You're right. I mean, we could literally just make it jellyfish goop. Just because. Nah, you know what? We're gonna make it mysterious goop. We're gonna make it mysterious goop. The gelatinous remains of a man-o-war. Why it is of value to Beatrice is beyond you. That's how we're going to go with that, yeah. Mysterious goop. Gelatinous remains of a man-o-war. Why it is of value to Beatrice is beyond your understanding. And then the dormouse. I mean, there's a million and one things you can get out of a rat, so. Make it give you life points, they shock you, right? Something to get my Ryoshi shards on. Large canine. So here's the yeah, right. Could you imagine? Drops a mini door. We could do an Alice in Wonderland reference. No, what I'm going to do for the rat, actually, is it's going to drop a large canine, because even though it's a dormouse, it's actually going to be quite a fucking large mouse, so. An unusually massive fang from a dormouse. Those fuck-ass mouses in Elden Ring, you right. Yeah, it's one of those, exactly. One of the big-ass ones that, like, poise through your attacks like assholes. Kind of want to make a fucking Alice in Wonderland reference here, I'm going to be honest with you. I know the Dormouse was one of the characters that was at the tea party, though, but I don't know how I would incorporate that into the description. Even though it's legally not a dragon. Just make a boss the Jabberwock. I mean, we're definitely going to have a Jabberwock boss somewhere in here. That's fine. We'll probably call it one of the random fucking weird-ass enemies that doesn't really fit in the game, to be honest with you. And it'll probably be a sub-boss and not an actual boss. It'll probably be a mini-boss. It'll probably be a normally hard mini-boss for no reason. Never actually described in the book, by the way. Yeah, it's always kind of just presumed that it's a dragon, but, like, there's nothing that says that. There's nothing that says that it is indeed exactly that thing. Nothing says it's weak to the Vorpal sword either, or even with the Vorpal. No, I don't think that it was ever implied that it was weak. I think it was just always implied that just the Vorpal sword was just a good weapon. It probably would do that to anybody. I just feel like that was an iteration, like an adaptation that people came up with over time that they just kind of worked with, you know, where it's like, ah, yes, the Jabberwocky was murdered by the Vorpal sword, therefore, it's going to be a weakness. Which, you know, fair enough. It's a sword that's Vorpal. Get with the program. You right. Sneck scales. Alright, I'm gonna need to actually do the boss fight for stage 1 and 2, and I hate that because I actually... Well, actually, no, it wouldn't be too hard. I know how to do it and what I would want to do. The stage 1 boss is honestly... It's just a rage encounter, really. Like, every 33% health, it just enrages. And it also just does a shitload of basic attacks. It's also the first boss of the game. The Wolf of Grimm is supposed to just kind of teach you about telegraphing. Because how I want this game to work, and here's something that you guys might enjoy too. So what I want the game to do is I want certain attacks, what you can do. Let me go through into the troops right here first, right? So you can, in RPG Maker, script encounters. Everything has to pull from a troop when you go into an encounter. Which means the Wolf of Grimm will always have this, which means I can script it. Okay? What I want it to do is you can do something like turn, where starting on turn 2 and then every 4 turns afterwards, right? You can do something like that. Then it can do a thing. And what I want it to do is I am going to have it randomly choose, right? You can have it randomly choose a player. So let's go... Where is the battle? Where's the combat? Where's the combat battle? Change states. Not enemy state, but it would have to be actor state. Yeah, change state. So, say variable, RNG, whatever. It'll roll between different party members or something like that. But point of the matter is you would want it, and it'll probably just be a skill. So I'll have it actually do this, where it would be enemy skill, whereas force action. Yeah, force action. Enemy, Wolf of Grimm, use unknown skill 13 on random. No, there's a way to do this that I can't think of. Fuck. There's a way to target somebody with a state, and that's what I'm looking for. So, sorry, give me a minute, guys. I'm trying to remember this all over again. Is it in here? Oh, you know what? That's what it is. That's what it is. I'm an idiot. You have to put a conditional. That's all. So, conditional branch, actor, state, and then insert state here. So, there should be a provoke state in there. But we'll just pretend it's knockout, right? So it's going to go through the list of all of these different characters, right? And so long as you are provoking, then it is going to prioritize hitting you with a marked status, right? Also, welcome back, Nini. The idea is I want the player to be able to provoke an enemy. So think of it this way, guys. You know how the Prophet works in Darkest Dungeon? So it'll drop a massive rock on you depending on, like, just, it's mostly random, but you can also mark yourself, etc., and all of that. So think of the mark as being a guaranteed chance of you being hit with a marked status effect from a boss at the beginning of a turn when it's going to do a heavy hitting attack, right? The idea of provoke is I don't want it to be an RNG for whether or not that you get hit by the enemy. I want it to be a guaranteed way to funnel an attack to a singular person so that you can, like, deal with hard to manage attacks on whoever, like, your tankiest character is, or somebody who's most fit to deal with being hit by that attack. Say that you wanted to use, like, a counter tank, for example, that does a lot of counterattack damage. Then you go ahead and you throw a provoke on them. They get hit with a mark at the beginning of the turn. Then they hit them, and then it'll resolve afterwards. And that's how I want this boss fight to train the player, is that you can provoke so that you can then be targeted by specific attacks. It's also going to teach you being able to dodge. So if you guys remember how the combat encounters worked in Black Souls, right? You have a guard or an evade or something like that, depending on the character class that you played, right? So that's going to be something that you have in this game as well, where you have like a 75% chance to evade an attack or something when you hit the evade, or blocking is you get attacked guaranteeably, but it'll reduce the damage by a set percent. So you can then provoke the boss, and then during these times, you can time out every 4 turns, right, in your head, and then make them do a guard action, which would then reduce the physical damage of the attack, etc. So getting it to call a skill that does a mark for an attack next turn. Exactly. And that's how I want the Wolf of Grimm boss fight to be. It's not really going to be a super difficult boss fight so much as it is a learning experience for the player to understand how telegraphing works. Because that's how I want most of the major bosses in the game to work, is they're going to have telegraphing for some of their harder to hit attacks, and it's going to be spaced out every X number of turns so that you can time it out in your head. I think that's like the most fair way to deal with enemies that have really difficult to deal with attacks that are supposed to hurt you, is you can like time them out, or there's like a telegraph of some way so that you know what's going to happen next turn. So that's how we're going to work with it. But yeah, that is one thing I do want to work on for sure. Also, hydrate and stretch. So I got my goal done where I wanted to do that. I think the other thing that I want to do is I want to make it... Did we unlock stages 5 and 6 yet, or is this to unlock stage 5 and stage 6? I think this is to unlock stage 5 and 6. So the next area for the unlock for the Illusionist and the Sanctum will probably require... Oh, you know what? I just realized if we already have the Guild and the Armory unlocked, there's only 3 unlocks left in the game, really. Shit. Alright, yeah. Okay, that's what it's gonna wind up being then. So I'm thinking for the next area, you would probably need some drops. Probably going to be a mini-boss drop, actually, from stages 5 and 6. We'll do that. And then we'll include some drops from level 2 in other areas. And then the final unlocks to get into the library will probably require stage 3 drops from several different areas. I think that's how we'll do that. It'll be like a very easy to obtain thing, because you only need like 1 drop of a bunch of different types, but it'll probably be like maybe 4 different level 3 drops. And then maybe a boss drop. Maybe. I don't know. We'll have to figure out how I want to do that. Maybe we just get all the level 2 drops in the game from all of the bosses. But yeah, let's just do some dialogue for Beatrice for Inside of the Armory, and then honestly, I think I am good for now on how I want to do this. And really, the next thing that I'm going to wind up doing, because I have a lot of databasing to do for all of the enemies for level 2. Because I need to go through all of the enemies in the game, make sure that they are functioning with, you know, non-base stats of 100 HP and 10 all stats. You know? Maybe give them some weaknesses to different elemental damages and stuff, especially if they're flying. Because if they're flying, then they have to take reduced damage for melee. So, unless it's the flying physical damage. Okay, we're actually going to open up with having her do the music note thing. Down to business. In second area of the yellow. I don't know what color I need to do for that, though, so we're going to have to play around with the different colors. All right, let's try to find the yellow, baby. Pretty sure 14 is one, though. Yeah. And then we need to look at the name of the items again really quickly, because I keep fucking forgetting them, because I have the memory of a goddamn goldfish. Okay, we said 5 snake scales. Two rosebuds, and we'll go with 4 basilisk pinions. That's the other thing, too. I like using color coding in text. I think it just makes everything look cleaner. Get crazy at sniping when we lose. Yo, same. I mean, honestly, nah. Well, I don't know. Depends. Depends in the context of it. I do awful on sniping when we're doing bad because there's no pressure being taken off of me. So I do even worse. But sometimes I do really good, though, too. So, like, I don't know. It's weird. Oh, that's what I need to do. I needed to change how it's spelled. Rosebud is together, and then Basilisk Pinions are not together. It's 2 words. Okay, cool. Yep, that's all I needed to know. Okay. Now we know in-game what we need for those items. We have the text for the both of them. Also, I lied. We need 2 sets of things, so we can still keep doing level 2 stuff after this. So maybe a mini-boss, though, still. I think maybe we do take a mini-boss drop for, like, a level 1 area in the next 2 spots. Yesterday I did pretty well sniping. The sniping gods giveth, and the sniping gods taketh away, my friends. But yeah, I think we are going to wrap up here because I got to do a lot of, like, databasing stuff in the background. This lets me kind of just unwind, play a little bit of games today. Then I can do some RPG Maker stuff on Wednesday. What do you mean you can't snipe, Nini? I believe that you can. I believe in you. I'm going to train you to snipe right now, in fact. Our waifu fragrance legendary skin comes out on September 4th. Yo! 2 days? I get to pull for her. Oh, hell yeah. I should probably get my login stuff on that game, actually. Hell yeah. I love it. But yeah, chat, I think we are going to bounce here. Ophi is streaming. Let me just see who else is streaming. Kitsunada is streaming Deadlock right now. It's been a hot minute since I've seen Kitsunada live. On Deadlock, specifically. I might raid into Kitsunada. It's been a hot minute since I have seen them live. I don't know. I need to see what other games Kitsunada plays, though, right now. Give me a minute. Because I have not seen them play much recently, so I don't know. It seems like it's mostly Overwatch 2 and Deadlock. Yeah, it looks like Overwatch 2 and Deadlock. And considering that I have been playing Deadlock as of recently, it do be funny. So, I think we're gonna raid into Kitsunada. DMC in the wilds would be. Oh hell yeah! Also, welcome on in, Fox. How you doing, my friend? Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna raid into Kitsunada. But yeah, next time, hopefully, I'll have a lot more of the database filled out. I keep, like, being lazy about it, but I also was gone for a week. So, that's my excuse. I'm sticking with it. Anyway, you guys enjoy the Fox. I'm going to send you over to Kitsunada, who is currently loading up into playing Deadlock. Looks like they are having some slight issue with something. Something probably broke. But I will see you guys on the other side. You know how this goes. So, have fun, and until next time, my friends. Oh no, they're ending stream. Never mind. Abort mission. Abort mission. We gotta go to Ophi then. Shit. Alright, I'll see you guys over on Ophi's stream.